nhìn cánh hồ
但是你们能不能？
刚才要问我啊，我可以回饭店去，无可奉告。你们也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到，一定要做好准备。
干死共产党！干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Expose the CCP. And we're going to continue to talk about the CCP's threat to the rest of the world. And today we're very happy to have Chris and Mr. Truth007 to be in our show. And we're going to discuss some very interesting topics today. Hey, good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be on the show again today. Thank you.
Excellent. And also welcome Mr. Truth007.
Hello, Dee. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our program. We're going to talk about exposing the CCP today.
Awesome. Sounds great. So let's start some very interesting topics. I mean, the semiconductor and IC industry has becoming a very dominant for AIs, for daily uses, mobile phones, electronics, computers, etc. And the US has been slowly, losing its dominance over the past few years. The Intel has lost its give away its first foundry roles to Samsung and also TSMC, and now the Chinese companies are catching up. And one of them is the Huawei. It looks like a private company, but it's actually, according to Miles and many information, it's a state-owned company. It's doing the interest for the CCP, and we're going to watch some.
Well, the first thing that Well, the first thing to understand. Control node in the CCP strategy to dominate us technologically, especially with AI. And so I think it is wise for us to use all the tools in our kit in order to constrain Huawei before their operating system, the new Harmony OS, is on every device globally. So whether that's export controls, whether that's sanctions, something we learned in Trump 1.0 is that we need to actually enforce the export controls we put in place. But we also learned that that's not enough, right? It's not enough to go around the world to just say, Huawei's bad, Huawei's scary. You need an alternative. We don't have an alternative that can effectively compete with Huawei, which is why we need to forge trade deals with our closest allies. We need to get them to Finlandize in our direction. So a lot of work to be done.
as a nation state-owned company, the Huawei, and also it's a POA owned. It has a lot of influence over the Chinese things and has a huge advantage for competitive, and because it doesn't follow the fair play rules around the world, doesn't do the free trade. It steals the technology from the Western world and to try to use the Chinese laborers to do all these technological advancements. But no matter what, they seems very successful right now. So what can we do, right? How do we counterattack this Huawei's threat? What's your opinions, Chris?
Well, I think to counter the Huawei, we must start from giving them the high-end chips to Huawei. What the CCP really afraid is to cut their money supply and their high technology supply. And Huawei is an extension of the People's Liberation Army and operate as a company under the Chinese Communist Party. Huawei is 100% controlled by the government and closely collaborate with the CCP's Military Intelligence Department, which is the second department, and the Ministry of State Security. Mr. Mao Guo once pointed that to understand the CCPs, one must investigate the relationship between the genitals and the monies. And Huawei's founder, Ren Zhengfei, was a member of the PLA's engineering corps. Ren Zhengfei served in the Guangzhou military region during his youth. How did an engineering soldier become the founder of Huawei? This requires investigations through the genital connections. Ren Zhengfei's wife is Meng Jun. Ren Zhengfei's daughter is Meng Wanzhou, which is unusual in Chinese families where children typically take their father's surname. But Meng Wanzhou took her mother's surname. And Meng Jun's father, Ren Zhengfei's father-in-law, Meng Dongbo, was a senior CCP official who served as the vice governor of Sichuan province. So this family background provide Huawei with critical networks and resources during its early development in the 1980s when Huawei was founded in 1987. Such connections were vital. They helped Huawei secure early contracts, business contracts, government subsidies, and policy advantages. Could an ordinary private Chinese company obtain import and export permits in the 1980s? Of course not. But Huawei could. In the 1990s, Huawei secured key contracts from the People's Liberation Army, building the PLA's first nationwide telecommunications network. Huawei also obtained orders from the PLA's Hong Kong garrison. Additionally, Huawei secured a 10 billion low-interest loans from the China Development Bank. Huawei's largest clients are the CCP, including the military and state-owned enterprises. Huawei has established a party committee and party branches responsible for policy propaganda and employee management, particularly in telecommunications projects involving national securities, facilitating communications with the military. In the construction of 5G network, Huawei provides intelligence support to the CCP. Huawei participated in the CCP's high-tech surveillance laboratory in Xinjiang, supporting the development of large-scale monitoring system. Approximately 1 million Uyghurs have been detained in re-educational camps, accused of constituting crime against humanity. We know that the re-education camps is the concentration camp of nowadays. The surveillance system, including facial recognition, voice analysis, and data tracking, aimed at controlling ethnic minorities. So Huawei's shareholding structure. Ren Zhengfei holds approximately 1% of Huawei's share. The Huawei Trade Union Committee holds the remaining approximately 99% of shares. Huawei's Trade Union Committee is affiliated with the Shenzhen General Trade Union and pays membership fee to the All China Federation of Trade Unions, which is controlled by the CCP. So Huawei's greatest fear is the disruption of its supply of high-end chips. The Harmony OS system will ultimately face the same fate as DeepSeek, gradually being phased out of consumers. So if USA can keep cutting their supply of the high-end chips, I think in the end Huawei will lose. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chris, for explaining the origin of Huawei. There's no doubt it has a heavy link to POA and many other CCP senior officials. And the question, I think, for Mr. Truth will be why this happens, and what can US and the rest of the world can do right now to sanction them, or shall we just ban them in many places? How to stop them? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for the foundational information. Yes, so in summary, we know Huawei, it's a family of top Chinese officials, CCP. And also that you probably found that some information released, even Meng Wanzhou's really father, it's a questionable one. Okay, I mean, the people compared to her looking into Chairman Mao, it does really looks like each other very much in that cases. But whatever it is, I mean, we know CCP is very famous for using the genital connections, sex connections to create a lot of illegitimate babies. Hence become the red line family to control, to enslave China generation by generations over the last 100 years. So given its CCP's nature of monopoly in terms of a business module in communication and the chips and surveillance system, so it's altogether become extension arm of the CCP in that technical phase, which has been seeing its products is famous for control, freedom of speech, and also attracting people, plus have backdoors. If you buy Huawei's either a mobile phone or telecommunication like a laptop computing systems, you are for sure that all your information become the database for the Huawei as a military branch. So it is part of the strong technical arm to control Chinese people, but with its shares that into selling the products through 5G network to the rest of the world, in the One Belt, One Road, the Huawei also have been the major supplier. I remember that Huawei once supplied some Australian telecommunications and buy the products. I think the company who bought invested 70 million Australian dollars. So in the end, they have to just write that as a loss because the Australian government restricted the Huawei in providing telecommunications in Australia. After found they have security leakers, which put the Australian users, both the civil and the governmental users, in the danger of hack, and also losing all these private privileged information as well. So given that, I think given they have already together with CCP committed action against humanity, I think Huawei has been sanctioned by the United States, but maybe there's more need to be. I just saw some of the associated branches also get out of the Canadian market a couple of days ago. So all of that, I think we need to just to decoupling from them as a provider of telecommunication networks. So that's what we're seeing that a lot of countries are waking up, but of course the other one belt one road countries the same still. That Iran is example that Huawei's military communication technology and other stuff have also been used for that networking together. But this time we're surprised to see they are useless. That they haven't detected any incoming of Israel's, most of the United States bombers as well, B-2 bombers. So that's an example of how not too good the technology is. But nevertheless, they go through BGY and they have been really infiltrating a lot of Western countries. But surely, Middle East and Asia will use Huawei as well. Back to you, Z.
Thank you very much, Mr. Truce. And as both of you has illustrated, the Huawei is becoming a big threat to the Western world and also to the freedom and safety of all the people around the world. Their goal is not only just leading in business field. Their ultimate goal is infiltrating into the Western world, overthrow the freedom status and build their own dictatorship around the globe. So we got to start fighting back with them. So first step is we expose them and help us to distribute the truth and let your family member knows that, they're not just a regular company like a Western world. It's not a free market. It's basically weaponized by the Chinese Communist Party to blackmail the rest of the world. And we have also illustrated in many other technologicals, right? The rare earth and also the EV field. And they're not just simple companies. Their goal is not simple, just make money. They're much, much deeper and darker plot behind this. So hopefully we're gonna sanction them and get rid of them as soon as possible. Okay, next step, we're gonna look at something. There are a lot of turmoils within Communist China right now about the health of Xi Jinping, about the military actions, operations against Taiwan, and many, many others. So let's check out the video and we'll be right back.
Question I asked you over the weekend, because I spent a couple of days up there, and with you got the great team at the New Federal State of China Media. Is the black hand of the Chinese Communist Party partly in back of what we're seeing on the streets of New York right now in this whole Mandambi situation, sir?
100%. The previous guest mentioned about ideology and all the teachings in the school is all communist or socialism. What happens on the New York street is what really happening. If you think about what happens in Columbia University, which I graduated from, it's completely socialism, and all the students, Chinese Communist Party founded a lot of institutions in those universities. They pushed their propagandas, they pushed their ideologies in these universities. This is purely CCP's propaganda and their plan, which they executed for decades. And all the young kids, it was very easy to be influenced by those ideologies. And also, don't forget, Chinese Communist Party organized all those trips, organize all the young students goes to China, ask them to see all the big cities. But what they really cannot see is what happens in Xinjiang and Tibet. All the inhuman activities happens in those areas, also the rural areas where more than 600 million people don't even have food and don't have only less than $1,000 income in those areas. Those are the situations in China where the foreign student cannot see when they go to China, because the Chinese Communist Party controls media, controls all the travel plans for you, even the hotel you're living in. Those students won't know the truth. They won't know the fact.
So far, Columbia is one of the biggest, as we've laid Jackie out in this thing. Columbia, Hunter College, they're the feeder groups for this. When you were sitting in the classrooms, understanding the evils of the CCP, I mean, how could you sit there? Were the young kids, the rest of them, being easily indoctrinated by the professors, sir?
Yes, 100%. Because now the new generation lives on the social media. That's why we keep saying you and new federal state of China keep telling people the media has more power than the nuclear weapon, because it's easily to manipulate and influence the young generations. The professor, especially the young kids, they trust and respect their professors. They listen to them, especially when the Chinese control the mainstream media and the propaganda keep promoting the Chinese is greater and the Chinese system is greater than the democratic U.S. system. So that's what the students learn and see on social media, the TikTok, all the YouTubers. You know, there is so many YouTuber influence. They are invited by the Chinese Communist Party, go to China. They can make a lot of money and also have a lot of honey traps there. And then they are buy out by the Chinese Communist Party and promote their agenda and their propaganda. That's why the student and the young generations easily being manipulated and brainwashed by them.
You saw the fact that the Asians, particularly Chinese, were tending towards more MAGA and Trump, but in places like Chinatown and places like that have not integrated into American society, huge turnout for Mandabi. Do you see a direct involvement by the Chinese Communist Party in trying to assist this takeover of New York City, sir?
Absolutely. We see this, a couple of days ago, we have this indictment, I believe, for the New York State governor's assistant, and a couple of them, the situation. The Chinese Communist Party, when there is a commercial group and also a Chinese group, they always utilize, even in Columbia University, the student union, they will fund those student union and to promote their propaganda. They promote all the activities and organize them. Let's see if the Chinese official visit New York City, they will organize this student, pay them to go to welcome those officials, and all the activities they support. The CCP definitely behind a lot of activities in New York City, that's for sure.
Forrest, last thing, I want to get to the economy of China. I'll do that in the next couple of days because I want to take more time to develop that with you. But there's a lot of rumors out there that Xi is ill. This is one of the reasons he's not going to Rio, that he's losing his grip. He's trying to take over the military. Just give me a couple of minutes. Is that essentially you feel like a fantasy right now that he's losing his grip, he has an illness, there's been a revolt in the People's Liberation Army, or that other factions are trying to overthrow him in the summer? They always go for the summer conference, that he'll be overthrown there. Is that, and I think that takes place starting in mid-July to August. Is that a fantasy right now, or do you think that's grounded in reality?
That's definitely a fantasy. That's a disinformation and false information. And looking back over the years, the Chinese Communist Party has achieved absolute success in its global propaganda warfare, because they control the mainstream media, because they control all the media outsourced, so they can feed them. They can whatever they want. They control. Like look at about the pandemic. They can control the media to cover up the virus origin. But when we talk about this news regarding whether it's Xi Jinping's health condition or whether he's not going to the summit, this is all disinformation, because they use this as a political warfare, which used for this their playbook that's used by Mao Zedong when he disappeared from the public eye and hiding for a while, and all the informations are disinformation, and then all of a sudden he reappears with a more dramatic political movement like a cultural revolution. This is what Xi Jinping is doing. Let me tell you that Xi Jinping right now is laser focused on three things. The number one thing is the Taiwan. He's preparing all the manpower and all the resources prepared for recovering Taiwan because he has this mindset, want to go down in the history as the man who finished the mission, which is the reunification. That number two, he's working on the September 3rd, the military parade, as you know. This is after the Iran attack. He wants to show the world that the Communist Party, PLA, still have muscle to compete against the Western country. That's number two he's working on. Number three, he's working with Putin to together to further weakening the U.S. dollar, which is this is the big play they are working on. So I think right now we have to realize in China, even his condition, his health condition is top secret. No other Western media or just a regular journalist can learn this. So if there is any information, they won't distract you, they want to deceive you, and they want to take more time, gain more time to prepare for their next big move. That's what they are doing right now.
Forrest, New Federal State, where do they go to get to the show, the social media, all of it, sir?
Yeah, they can find us on NFSC on Gather, NFSC Speaks, and NFSC TV on Gather.
Thank you, Forrest. Fantastic analysis. You heard Forrest talk about the three strategies. Number one, the Taiwan, the putting Taiwan back together. Two is the military, which we'll have to use on the Taiwan situation. Three was the dollar.
Sign up for free and be part of the movement.
It isn't just an app. It isn't just a social media platform. It's a community.
Download Getter right now.
Sorry, welcome back. So we're going to continue to discuss. This is also a big topic. I mean, it's mind-blowing. There's so much information about what the CCP's tactics against the Taiwan, what's their next strategies, and what Xi is doing right now, and with his own situation. So let's start one by one. Maybe Chris, you explain your thought on this, and we'll continue to discuss with Mr. Truce for a couple of rounds.
Sure.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So I think that the largest cities in the United States have been deeply infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party. Take Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, for example, and as well as Taipei in Taiwan. These cities all have elected mayors who are pro-CCP, and moreover, top academic institutions in the US and Taiwan, such as Harvard and National Taiwan Universities, are being used by the CCP for infiltration under the guise of academic exchanges. Tim Walz and Ma Ying-jeou have both utilized academic exchanges to send students to China to participate in the CCP's United Front activities. These students, when in China, do not see the true face of the country under CCP's rule. The rampant issues of wealth disparity, unequal distribution, environmental destruction, human rights abuses, censorship through control and brainwashing educations, among many other problems. The CCP is also exporting these tactics to the West. Mandani is an enemy of the United States. Iran's theocratic dictatorship is the CCP's proxy in Iran. By supporting Iran's theocratic regime, Mandani is effectively supporting the CCP. And in the later years, Mao Zedong employed a strategy of disappearance, signaling, and reappearance to purge disloyal and elements within the Communist Party. Disappearance, deliberately reducing public appearance or retreating to the background. Signaling, conveying vague but pointing messages through public speeches, internal documents, or trusted allies to create political pressure and induce party factions to reveal their positions. And then the reappearance, reemerging at critical moments to quell chaos or dictate the outcome of struggles, reinforcing his unchallengeable status. Xi Jinping, in what can be considered his later years now, is using similar tactics to eliminate political rivals and consolidate his increasing precarious power. Like Ma Ying-jeou, Xi Jinping, they both seek to achieve historical greatness through the unification of Taiwan, aiming to secure a lasting legacy. However, neither will ultimately receive positive historical judgment. Xi Jinping's release of a virus has caused profound harm to the world, and Ma Ying-jeou lost all values the moment he colluded with the CCP. Xi Jinping's historical legacy will be that of a butcher who committed crime against humanity by unleashing the virus. And Ma Ying-jeou's historical legacy will be the part of a traitor who betrayed both Taiwan and the United States. Regardless of Xi Jinping's situation, the United States and its allied nations must be strengthen themselves, resist CCP infiltration, and unite to take down the CCP. And there's one more point that I want to mention that is Meng Wanzhou is actually Mao Zedong's seat. Yeah, that's what Mr. 007 mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris, for your detailed explanation. I think there's definitely no doubt there's a lot of a relationship we need to dig further. And let's continue to discuss about the Xi and also the next strategy of the CCP. And what's your thoughts on this, Mr. Truth?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chris. It's really interesting when we talk about in the Steve K. Bannon's war room with Forrest together. What we can see that Forrest, when asked by Bannon about what she's focus next, basically disregard all the noises and the disinformation about the Xi's health and so on, which can be seen as a deliberate misinformation, because that's the pattern of the CCP. Right? The pattern is that basically they like to say, oh, okay, well, this Chairman Mao or Chairman Xi is now ill, blah blah blah, is not appear to the public much. You know what happens? Often within the party, they start to wondering, and some forces which are against the Xi Jinping will come out. They use some information channel to spoken badly about Xi, and then you know what happened? You will see that the Xi is preparing for his military parade in the September the 3rd, But since he's going to come out he invited Putin as well, and it was said he even invited Trump. I don't think Trump's kind of going. That's the kind of information they're preparing mostly for attacking Taiwan. I mean, you wonder, given seeing what happens to Iran, should they be more fearful when Xi Jinping think about taking Taiwan? He should be worried about that the same B-2 bomber can come suddenly and take him out physically. So, but if you in the Xi's position, look at the party history, he has no choices because he made himself valuable and famous by swear he's going to take in Taiwan in his hand. That's why he's still there. If he's not doing that, the CCP will not allow him to continue his positioning, in the surface of commanding the Chinese Communist Party to engage in, unrestricted warfare against the United States, Europe, and the rest of the civilized world. So given CCP's nature and the position of Xi, what his role he has to play, that he's preparing definitely taking Taiwan. But I remember Mao School, whistleblower to us on the ghetto on the GTV, is said that the third gate is taking Taiwan. As soon as the CCP is physically taking Taiwan, and they're going to be finished. Why? Because the United States, the Western civilized nation, would never allow that communist China, Xi, to take Taiwan, because that is going to be a great threat for the rest of the Western civilization as well. And not to mention that Taiwan and the United States, have a military by agreement between these two nations to protecting Taiwan, especially from the United States. So, but then sometimes, when the God want it to be ended, then it has to be met. So I think the Xi's situation with the CCP military forces actually reflected that the phenomena truth. But the third thing we mentioned in the forest and Steve K. Bannon's show is about the weakened American dollar. We know that CCP have invested about 0.5 trillion US dollars to build the pipeline from Russia, supply oil into China, in the northeast China, in the northern China, for the domestic need. But the currency they used to pay is a digital RMB. And then I think that will, of course, the digital RMB then is sort of returned into gold or US dollars for Putin, to support Putin's foreign exchange needs. But I think the Iran being bombed now, that also weakened the CCP's ability to import the continuous supply of the petrol as well into oil to China. So given that together, CCP is not back off. Xi Jinping is not sit as the other misinformation blow out in all the fake social medias, and he's really preparing for that. So I'm sure the Western world with intelligence would know that. But then, it's art of war, right? So knowing, but not showing you knowing as well. It's part of the strategy that President Trump used very well when we say the 12 days of warfare against Iran and destruction of the 3 nuclear refining sites for Iranian regime. So in the summary, my feeling is that all that shows the Western world is, wow, they sort out themselves, sort out all the BGY side effects from the CCP and also the one belt, one road structure changes. But the whole weighted power, I think it's still on the civilized world. So as soon as Xi Jinping take Taiwan, and we will see the same stories will reappear when the United States taking down the Iran's nuclear weapon and Israel together taking down all the military command as well, and destruction of the communication systems. So they remained naked and defenseless. I think the China's situation is even better because most of the Chinese militaries are spread. There's more than half of them don't want to engage in the war. That's why a lot of military generals been turfed out by the CCP, by the Xi Jinping. But we also know there's some strong, guys, they want to follow Xi Jinping and then start the war. So all that together weighted, and the Chinese people been suppressed for so long, being enslaved for so long, they don't want to live like that anymore. So they want to take down CCP. Maybe by Xi engaging Taiwan, taking Taiwan, it's the same chances where it's a populist revolution inside China and turning the whole government apart. I think this is what we're going to see. I have a strong feelings. And given what Miles scored, when the third gate of CCP opened the third gate. They opened the virus, the Wuhan P4 lab virus. They also engage in this production and the implementation and the mandate of vaccination in COVID vaccination injection, but killed so many millions of people inside China and the United States and the rest of the world. And number 3 is taking Taiwan. When that gate opened, it is a death gate for the ending of the CCP era. So what's your thoughts?
Excellent for this further elaborations. It's very critical. I think the economy have a lot of uncertainties. You see, there is so many directions that people are trying to predicting where the market goes, but ultimate goals is definitely we're having a problem inside because of the CCP virus. The government have created too much currency, too much money in the market, and now causing a lot of inflations. Plus the threat of the supply chain caused by the CCP because they dominate the majority of the common commodities and also raw materials for technological development, and that puts a lot of risk for the rest of the world. And also the oil, the world, the military actions. You see what happens between Israel and Iran, in Middle East, in Eastern Ukraine, Russia, and now maybe the next is Taiwan. So there are a lot of things going on, and don't underestimate the determination from Xi, because he's a very, very powerful conspirator, and he has a lot of things to accomplish, and we need to be very aware of that and try to stop the CCP at this moment. Okay, so I think we have a few more minutes. Maybe is there anything else to add for this topic, Chris?
I think they
talk about CCP threat. Anything in general, military, Taiwan, anything?
I think Xi Jinping, if he wants to take Taiwan now, it's not a good time. Because the best time for the PLA to take down Taiwan is already passed. I think back in 2022, February 24th, that time when the Putin invades Ukraine, that's the best time for the CCP to take Taiwan. But they already lose that time gap. So and it's been like three years over after that, and Taiwan has been prepared for more than 3 years, and Taiwan is now more Taiwan now has more power to defend Taiwan itself. So if Xi Jinping take Taiwan right now, I don't think he will succeed, and also he will give President Trump a good reason to bomb Xi Jinping and decapitate Xi Jinping. So if CCP want to do that, just bring it on. Yeah, I think the people in Taiwan are not afraid of CCP's invade. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris, for your continuous support. And now we go to Mr. Truth for final more comments and regarding this topic.
Yeah, I think whenever Xi is going to take Taiwan, I think now it's I agree with Chris that it might be more difficulty given that more preparedness by the United States and NATO together with Israel. That's one thing. Another thing is that more and more people know what it's going to do. And then Taiwan is much better prepared by spending, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars to buy all the advanced technology, this defensive and offensive machinery and the military equipment. That would make the difficulty. But I remember Miles Gore said, if Taiwan can last for 5 minutes to half an hour, and that's all you need. And the U.S., military bases around Taiwan, Philippines, those locations will start to act very quickly with the speed of sound. Then I think I actually calculated it wouldn't take very long to taking down the CCP's Zhongnan Canyon. Okay, and I'm sure that military intelligence within China, they should have the resources there, I'm sure. And then what happened is, and the missiles, the bombers would just go there and then take the few, as Miles Gore said, just 5 or 6 of them. Once you take them down, it's over. And then the rest of the people, Chinese people, like freedom. We welcome freedom. We don't want the Chinese Communist Party to put us continuously as enslaved laborers. And we're not secure. Our future, our property is all going down half and half in some cities. And we lost our superannuation. We don't have means of cash to really to live the rest of the life. And the economy is terrible. And the unemployment is probably 50%, if not more. And given the Trump's tariff war against the CCP, so as Trump said, that the economy is terrible and finished. Basically, so many unemployment. Of course, we don't want to see that. It's our people, and we don't want, due to the CCP's wrongdoings, and then the people of China who are already the first, been suffering for that long. And I think it should be very quick, okay, with the lightning speed, taking down those few guys. I think China is ready, people is ready, and to really join the free world, okay, forever, after many years, 100 years of suffering of enslaved. So what we see is that the world is moving to a much better places. And we also like to see Miles Gore come out of the ASP, which we saw some court documents and so on. I hope that he will come out. He can really, as Steve K. Bannon said, he's probably done the most contribution, okay, with Trump similar altogether, and he's really going to help the United States to gain the upper hand with all his intels. I think CCP will be finished, taken down by the Chinese people. Okay, but of course, with these continuously stresses into the CCP from the Western united forces, like United States. Thank you very much. This is what I have to say. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for all the comments. And remember, in the 2017, when Miles Gore came out to expose the truth, he said, "The dark is yet to come." And even we already see a lot of dark news in the past few years: the lockdown, the terrorism, the military attacks, the wars. And I think the darkest may not be here yet. So the worst is still. And what CCP, don't underestimate the evilness of the CCP and its senior leadership. It can do anything. But the good news is that, although the CCP is trying to promote all the propagandas, infiltrations, we still have the new Federal State of China. All the followers are still brave to stand up and say no against the CCP. Hopefully, we're going to work with the rest of the world and eliminate them as soon as possible to cause less damage to humanity. And again, thank you very much, Chris and Mr. Truce, for coming to the show today. And thank you very much for watching. So please stay connected with the NFSC. We're going to continue to expose the CCP. And have a good day. See you next time.
Take down the CCP.
Thank you. Take down CCP.
Bye.
Beginning for the games you want to play. Bring it on and I will fight to the end. Just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，你完了！干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 还能让我们远离恐惧。Take down CCP。
They try to scare the nation with fabrication, but we see through the lies. We won't fall, we will fight you back. Police corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win. We will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little
为
longer.
奴役的人们
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer. Bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little
CCP。
longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down the evil CCP.